Welcome back to Random but Relevant, presented by My Block TV. I'm your host, Oswald Williams. Yo, during the break, we had a little small discussion with our technical director, Renee, and I'm just fascinated how much people are fascinated with Smollett, this whole Smollett situation. He's just Jamal from Empire to me, no disrespect. Yeah. But I just want to know, why do you think people are so fascinated with this story?
You know, in one aspect, I do get why people are fascinated in the fact, you know, here's another person, Hollywood, who, you know, said something happened, turned out to be what he said wasn't true. You know, there was holes in the story to begin with. From the beginning, I kind of like questioned it, you know, when he was saying, yeah, it was these two people in, you know, in these MAGA hats, and you know, they said, oh, you're the guy from Empire and blah blah blah. I was like, well, if you're painting these people as racist, why would they watch Empire, and why would they?
Pretty much.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but you know, I'm not an investigator, so then when it turned out to be fake, and then he gets his slate wiped clean. Why? I don't know what backhanded politics happened. Mm-hmm. You know, it's
Obama country. Yeah. I'm just going to say it. And Obama's a fan of Empire. That's Obama country.
It could be, you know, but you know, in any kind of way, when you see somebody, you know, rich get off, you know, from crimes or anything like that, you're like, you know, where is the justice? You know, 2008, you know, we had the great recession, you know. All these CEOs of these companies, they're no longer CEOs, but they ain't in jail either.
Yeah, and
so, you know, it's just a lack of injustice. But, you know, I do believe that a lot of time is being spent in the news cycle for it when there's a lot more things going on.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that gets me, you know. Spend a minute, spend 2 minutes on it, but spend a whole 15-minute segment on it.
It's too much. It's definitely too much. And I'm going to tell you when I knew he was lying. When I saw the soundbite at his concert, I said, this looks like an episode of Empire. He's full of shit. But I didn't want to say nothing. I was like, yo, let me leave it alone. But I do admit, you know, Renee's point at all times is always like, yo, this could have been kind of like you putting fuel to the fire.
You might be starting like some kind of race riot or something, unjustly so.
I get it, but my thing is, there's a lot of other shit we could be talking about right now, and I'm not feeling the whole news cycle. Just like, you know why I feel uncomfortable? I'm forced to watch Fox News now just to get a balance because, like, I feel like it's I think news is just too much commentary and it's too robotic right now.
It is. It's become too much of an echo chamber, and that's the problem. You know, you see only one view, and then you know you think you're getting what's supposed to be. Just here are the facts. No, you're getting facts with commentary, and then you know the commentary is trying to screw you one way or the other. If you're leaning more conservative and you only watch Fox News, you gotta watch a bit of CNN, MSNBC, to see what the other side says, and the other side too. I mean, you know, when MSNBC and CNN, you know, is only saying, you know, oh, the conservatives is the conservative this, conservative that. It's their spin on what's being said. You know, see what the actual soundbite is, see what the actual thing is being said, and draw your own conclusion. You know, if you get, you know, only your like-minded friends, you know, stuff like that, you're just gonna throw yourself into that kind of tizzy.
And it's so funny. Last night I couldn't sleep that well because I walk in, I'm exporting something in the edit room, and I walk out, and you know, Renee, 9 o'clock, Tucker. So there was a segment he did, and I was upset that it happened. He said, close your eyes and look at this ad and tell me it doesn't sound, look at this news report and tell me it doesn't sound like an ad sponsored by Kamala Harris. So I disregarded the rhetoric, or like you could tell he was about to talk shit, but I did close my eyes and did it. And a matter of fact, it was Cuomo's brother or something like that. He has a show, and I swear to God, Mario, it sounded just like a fucking campaign ad. And it's like, yo, hey, the point he was making is like, look how, because I felt this way too. I felt like Democrats are spending way too much time on Donald Trump, not trying to get him impeached, which I knew was full of shit. I was like, yo, they could be doing some work right now. So for Miss Pelosi to just switch to healthcare again and just act like you didn't just spend the past 2 years wasting time. I'm kind of like, yo, you know what?
Well,
I'm
it's the
done
thing
with it,
with both sides, you know. The Democrats, you know, say, you know, everybody deserves a fair shot, even if you don't like the person, even the president.
Yeah.
We had an investigation going on to see, okay, is he an agent of Russia? Is he not? Okay, it turns out he's not. Don't just throw it away like a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Say, okay, we were wrong. The investigation showed this. On the other flip of the coin, same thing with the conservatives saying, oh, you can't trust Bob Mueller this, Bob Mueller that, and then as soon as the thing is like they didn't just say one peep about him.
It's ridiculous.
So, you know, it's the way I see, you know, the two sides, which I really don't subscribe to. You know, I'm an independent. I don't subscribe to right-wing, left-wing politics. I believe they each have like good and bad points. You know, you just gotta pick and choose. You know, person to person wise. You know, who's gonna represent me the best. But the things that we see, you know, with the CNN commentary, the MSNBC commentary, and you know the Fox commentary, it's like watching two personal trainers talk about why the other person's fat when they're both fat.
Yeah.
Concentrate on your own fat. Concentrate on getting yourself stronger. Weed out, you know, the cancer inside your own shit. And once you have the perfect body, then you could comment on why the other person's body is fatter than yours.
Yeah. And another thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Cory Booker. I like Kamala Harris. I like Bernie, but I don't like the idea that you could just make somebody give you money or force somebody to give you money. Because if I'm a billionaire, right, and you just come and taking that approach on fixing things in the country, and you just said, I'm just going to tax you, I'm going to be like, fuck you. I'm just going to, excuse my, this is probably the only time, but I'm going to say, fuck you. I'm just going to go over here and get it cheaper. It's like a street concept. Like, you're not going to force me to do something. So my thing is, even if you do tax, let's say this bill passed yesterday. Now let's say you get this, you bring everything she says she want, right? When are you going to itemize where this is going to? Because all I'm seeing is like a bunch of, like, just like somebody was talking to me yesterday. I was doing some, and somebody, Haitian, my buddy, he's Haitian. And all he keeps talking about is when that disaster happened in Haiti, the earthquake, he keeps saying, I want to know where that money is.
Yeah.
I want to know where that money is. And no one wants to talk about that.
And that's the thing, you know, with when things go like way too far one way or another and nobody talks to each other, you try to rush these bills. Oh, we have our winning team in Congress, we got to rush this bill, you know, without actually reading the proposal and be like, okay, this is fine. Wait, what the hell is this? Explain this better. This needs to be written better. You know, it happened with the healthcare system that Obama did. You know, it was rushed through. It happened with the GOP tax plan. It was rushed through, where things were just written out at the end, and it went through like that. Well, it wasn't even typed.
Yeah.
You really don't even have time to type it. No, because you know we got to push it through before our other team, the other team, you know, takes over.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a disservice to the American people because everything's getting rushed through and nobody's reading through the things like, oh shit, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Well, because you didn't read it, you know. In the simplest things, you know, you're not gonna, you shouldn't, and a lot of people do, sign anything without reading it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're gonna sign into law affecting everybody without reading what's going on.
Yeah,
really,
it's
that's the
ridiculous.
state of politics. Is that supposed to be now?
Let me ask you this: what made you want to go independent? Were you always on that, took a stand like that?
I always consider myself a little bit of a centrist. You know, when I first started voting, you know, I was filling out the paperwork. You know, and I started voting as soon as I was 18. I always took that serious. I was registered Democrat. I really, you know, even though I wasn't, you know, always, it has to be a Democrat. I voted for a couple of Republicans too, on, you know, local stuff. But each of them have been going way too, you know, swinging the pendulum too much to the left, too much to the right. I think now a lot of people are starting to get, you know, getting into the moderate. I think this is probably like the last swing that we see, you know, going with with the people who are like way too hardcore left, you know, with Cortez and some of these other politicians. I think is starting to swing a little bit more centrist, but some of the centrist candidates that I see, you know, they have some real good radical ideas. I like this past election for the governor, I went with the third-party candidate, the Libertarian Larry Sharpe. I liked his ideas. They were radical. They were different. Libertarians, you know, old school libertarians was like a little bit too much of a goofy idea for me. You know, they had really nothing want to do any kind of like a licensing or anything like that. Even to drive a car, you shouldn't even have to have a license for that. It's like, that's kind of that's a little bit too anti-government for me. You know, a little bit of government, it's good. You know, government does have a little bit too much power, but you know, some of his proposals is to keep the people in the state of New York. You know, once you retire, most people who retire in the state of New York, they sell their property because they can't afford the property taxes.
Yeah, that's good.
And they move either to Florida, or Virginia, or one of the Carolinas because the property taxes is cheaper. So you make your money here, you build your roots here, and then it's like, oh, you know, we chewed you up like a piece of tobacco, we spit you out, peace. You know, you know, you can't afford here anymore. So you know, I live a little bit up in Westchester County, coming over here to work in Queens. I gotta pass these toll bridges, you know, $6 one way and another. You know,
that shit adds up.
Yeah, it adds up. So you know, one of his proposals is, you know, why do we all have to pay for it? You know, license out the names of the other bridges. You know, I'm not going to the walls through the Whitestone Bridge, and you know, right now it's Chase Bank. Let's say, you know.
It makes so much sense because, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of these football stadiums are being paid for from this advertisement.
So it's the same thing, you know. It's like, I don't care, you know, if I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to the Waltuck Parkway to the Whitestone Bridge. No, I'm going to the Chase Bank Bridge to the, you know, Stop and Shop Highway.
But they're so greedy. Yeah. They'll probably find a way to F that up too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, and all the money of that licensing is going to pay to fix, you know, the roads, maintain the roads. So you know okay, and you know there goes a lot of burden that's out. You know, I'll save mega amount of money if I got to pay tolls, you know, all the time.
But you know, my episode 5 we spoke with Leah Daughtry. And she spoke on, right now we're in it's called the cult of personality. And I think that's the reason why Cory Booker thinks he should run now. That's the reason why Kamala Harris thinks she could run now. But for me, honest with you, I like Cory Booker, but I just think he would be better served actually trying to be a governor, showing he could run a state. Yeah. And then but my thing is like, damn, like, I like your personality, bro. Yeah. I don't know if you can be a president. Like, people not thinking for themselves no more. Like, I like you, man, but I want to see you go up in the ranks so you like a Teflon Don by the time you get to be president. Yeah. But don't go in there and then you green when it comes to all these different things. You don't know which room you don't know who to negotiate with. That's one thing Obama said in one of his excellent speeches. He said, yo, people only lose the House the way I did in my second term because of the lack of experience. The only president I've heard say, yo, man, a lot of things I did wrong because I just didn't have the experience. And no one's talking like that no more in politics.
I mean, we saw that in the last election. You know, there were 16 GOP candidates, and a lot of them with extensive resumes, and all of them fell short to Donald Trump because he had that personality, that TV thing, you know. And you know, we're basically going through a thing of a popularity contest of, you know, and it's become, you know, that kind of. That whole kind of system where it's like, who's going to be the most, you know, it's, you know, going back to the boxing kind of stuff like that, you know, they market themselves in a certain kind of way. But you see, you know, you could talk about a certain kind of game, but if you can't play it.
I agree with you. I was a huge fan of Kamala Harris when she first came out. I heard the soundbite she did, but she was at a hearing or a committee hearing, and I was like, wow, she sounds kind of presidential. And I saw she was a DA and all that. I like the fact that she's from Oakland and this and that. But then when I looked at it, when it came to like African, the issues, I'm unapologetic about this. The issues that I want to see people talk about is racial inequality when it comes to finances, when it comes to all these different institutions. And my thing is, every time she addresses it, I don't appreciate that she feels like going to Sylvia's to have dinner with Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
It's addressing the African American community. I'm not feeling that narrative. I've never been feeling that narrative. I'm against a Cory Booker feeling like he doesn't have to have a town hall, a Q&A style town hall in the quote unquote hood or the community where he's saying he's lobbying for the most.
Yeah.
I don't like that attitude at all. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm getting turned off by the whole process because, again, I don't like this whole idea that, okay, I want to do this and this and this for poor people or lower income people, and I want to just take all your money to do it.
Yeah.
Nah, you got to be smarter than that to me.
Yeah,
man.
it's the same thing that happens, all around black, white. It's one of the things, one of the downfalls of when Hillary Clinton lost the last election in 2016 was she didn't go to the Rust Belt, to the places where people were hurting. Donald Trump came on, he's like, I'll bring the jawbacks or whatever. He really didn't have a plan on how to do it, but the fact that he went out and talked to these people and listened to them, that was huge. When you're disenfranchised and you feel like nobody's hearing your voice, and then you feel like, okay, at least somebody's hearing me out, you're gonna go for that person.
Is there anything you think, his first term, is there anything you can say, I think he's doing that right, or I think he's hitting on the nail on this issue? Is there anything he's doing right? Because I seem to not see anybody saying that he's doing anything right. No, I don't know if it's true or not.
There's things that happen. that the economy is up on a little bit of an upswing. Again, we're not getting the bulk of that. As just personally, you and me, some of the big corporations are feeling that, but there is a little bit of a trickle down, but not as much as there should be. I don't think it's ever gonna happen that way. There's certain things here and there where I do like the fact with the UN stuff that he got the other countries to put in their fair share. It's the United Nations. The United States shouldn't have to be footing most of the bill. Everybody pony up too. Yeah. The way he came about it, maybe it wasn't right, but it got the job done. Cool, I don't mind that. I mean, in any kind of situation, I don't think somebody's going to be like 100% wrong in everything that they do. I mean, that's one of the things that always got me from 08 and on is you're always picking apart the bad, but never mention anything of the good.
It's not good. It's not, for me. It's not good because it makes me look at what you're doing now. See, because my position is always I would rather the person I know what he's gonna do. I know his stance on something. I know what Donald. One thing about I know what he's gonna say. I know he's accessible. I could tweet Donald Trump right now. On something logical, he'll probably tweet me back. I can't say the same thing.
Or block you.
Yeah, or block me, but it's going to be some kind of action.
But that's the thing, if blocking is like, oh, so you did read it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people, my thing is, I don't like this idea that people are not thinking for themselves, just like with Kanye West. I was trying my best to dissect where Kanye was going, and then he ended up turning a lot of people off. But a lot of people he turned off, I don't want to side with them because a lot of these people don't think for themselves. Yeah. I think for myself. I thought Kanye was falling off already. So for him to do that was nothing for me.
I think people have this double standard kind of thing. This double stance, not a double standard. It's more of people always talk like a big game, saying, oh, we gotta address mental health and X, Y, and Z. But the moment you see it in front of your face, you're like, either shame them, it's like, oh, we got to take the stigma off mental health. And then you see somebody who's acting a little bit mentally unhealthy. Oh, how dare you say that? It's like, well, because they're not right. Let the person, get the help that they need. Actually be like, hey, man, are you okay? Do you need some help? So, it's that kind of thing. It's like, you want to be sanctimonious one way, but when you have the opportunity to be that way, you just want to shame and you just want to scream. You know, like if I say something, you know, that's, you know, misconstrued, instead of saying, oh, how dare you say that, you know, if I, you know, had a show on NBC and they're like, you know, take him off, he said this, instead of saying, hey, what did you really mean?
What did you mean? Yeah, I think I don't think people realize what they're doing with that and how much power they're giving away. So again, I'm so disgusted with the Democratic Party right now, as far as just like the robotic stuff, the way all of these candidates are campaigning. It's reminding me of Obama's second term, when you had 13 Republicans on stage drilling each other out. So my logic is just telling me, if you have 12 Democratic parties, or let's say it's 7, and they're all going against each other, just ripping each other apart, I feel like your opposition is going to sit back, take notes, and be like, okay, you just gave me the blueprint to beat whoever wins out of this Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, it's the good thing, kind of to weed out, you know, who's full of it and who's not. I mean, which is the reason why Bernie went real far last time, and he should have won if it was for DNC meddling. Was he has a lot of like ideas, and some ideas are like are really out there and I don't agree with, but it comes from a genuine place. He doesn't bullshit.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 2 non-bullshitters.
Fidel Castro was genuine also.
It's not saying that he's right, but you know where the stance is. You know where the stance is. You know, 2 non-bullshitters. You know, the lifelong Republican candidates that were going through. You know, they were talking. You know, some game. Donald Trump comes in as somebody who's new to politics, but not new to that sphere. He's like, you've asked me for money. You've asked me for money. He's like, he took him down.
He took him down like that.
He took him down in a great kind of way. He's like, oh, I'm this, but you've asked for my money, and you've asked for my money. It's like, hey, he's not wrong in that.
I remember, you know, before we move on, I remember when Hillary, I think it was the 2nd or the 3rd debate Hillary had with him, and they were just drilling him about his tax returns. And he said, yo, I'm a businessman. And businessmen, we try to find loopholes in these tax systems. But when Senator Clinton had the chance to change that when she was in office, she didn't. And I know the TD turned to her face when he said that, and she looked like she saw a ghost. And I was like, yeah, she's finished. And he did that to Jeb Bush. I was seeing a soundbite where he was telling Jeb Bush, little Jebby doesn't have any money, so he has to go to his mommy. And America, I don't gonna lie, America was entertained by it and said, you know what, they are full of shit. Let's give him a try.
Yeah.
And it was bad to me. But Random but Relevant, presented by My Block TV. We're gonna shift gears when we come back. We got some issues in the Bronx of the school system we want to talk about real quick. We'll be right back. Doom, 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 doom. All right, boom. This is where the phone goes.